Imagine you are sailing across the bright blue waters of the Indian Ocean and you see a beautiful green island ahead. The sand is white and the trees look like a perfect place to relax. But as you get closer, things get scary. Suddenly, a group of men run out from the trees holding long spears and bows with sharp arrows aimed right at your chest. They are not joking around, and they do not want your help or your friendship or even your money. They want you to stay away, and if you take one more step toward the shore, it might be the last thing you ever do. This is not a scene from a movie because this place actually exists, and it is one of the most mysterious spots on Earth. Today we are talking about the places on our planet where you are legally and physically banned from ever setting foot. From islands filled with deadly snakes to places where an ancient tribe has lived in total isolation for 60,000 years. We're going to look at why these places are off limits and the legends that keep people far away from their shores. There is a giant open loop here because even with all our satellites and drones, we still have no idea what is happening inside. Our world is covered in maps and GPS signals, but there are still black holes where the modern world just stops. Have you ever wondered why some spots on Google Earth are blurred out or why a Navy ship might chase you away? It is not always about government secrets or hidden weapons, though sometimes it definitely is about those things. Sometimes, the reason is much older and much more terrifying than a simple military base or a fence. Humans have always been curious creatures, and nothing makes us want to go somewhere more than a big sign saying keep out. Psychologists say that when we are told a place is forbidden, our brains automatically start filling in the blanks with wild stories. We imagine hidden treasure or strange monsters, or maybe even a way to live forever hidden deep in the jungle. But the reality of these forbidden zones is often a mix of dangerous nature and very strict laws that you should not break. Think about the physical barriers that keep us out, like sharp coral reefs that can rip a boat open in seconds. Or think about the huge ocean currents that act like a giant invisible wall, pushing any curious travelers back out to sea. These natural defenses have kept these islands secret for hundreds of years and protected the mysteries hiding under the trees. For thousands of years, sailors have told stories about islands that seem to appear and disappear in the thick morning mist. In ancient times, mariners would write in their logs about land masses that were not supposed to be there at all. They called them islands of the dead, or places where the spirits of the past went to hide from the sun. Many different cultures have a legend about a forbidden land that is guarded by ghosts or powerful gods who hate visitors. Back when big empires were trying to claim every corner of the map, they tried to land on these secret islands. But time after time, the colonial ships were beaten back by heavy storms or by people who fought with amazing strength. Some of these islands were even put on maps in the 1800s, only to be taken off a few years later. Cartographers would literally erase them because nobody could find them again or because the danger was just too high to handle. It is like the Earth itself is trying to keep these places hidden from the eyes of modern technology and loud crowds. One of the biggest mysteries of these islands is the people who might still be living there away from everyone else. We like to think we know everyone on the planet, but there are still groups of humans who are living in the past. These are the uncontacted tribes, and they are like a living window into what life was like thousands of years ago. The people on North Sentinel Island are the most famous example because they have said no to the world for a long time. They have their own language that nobody else on the planet can understand or even begin to translate. Linguists think their way of speaking has been cut off from other humans for so long that it has no roots. It is a completely unique way of communicating that has evolved in total silence from the rest of the human race. Some people even believe that these islanders have biological defenses that make them different from you and me. Because they have been alone for so long, their immune systems have never met the common germs we carry around every day. A simple cold or a sneeze from a tourist could actually wipe out their entire population in just a couple of weeks. This is one of the biggest reasons why the government makes it illegal to go anywhere near their private shores. But the legends go even further than just biology and talk about the islanders having almost superhuman powers of survival. Fishermen who have seen them from a distance say they can run through thick thorns without getting a single scratch. Others say they can stand perfectly still for hours in the water waiting for a fish to swim by their feet. Local folklore near these islands says that the land is protected by guardian spirits that scream when a stranger nears. These stories might just be a way to keep kids away from dangerous reefs, but they feel very real to the locals. In the modern age, you would think we have seen everything, but the encounters we do have are very strange. There are records of ghost ships that have drifted into these forbidden waters and then drifted back out completely empty. The boats look fine and the food might still be on the table, but the people who were on board are just gone. To stop this from happening, many governments have set up a 3-mile exclusion zone around these mysterious land masses. If you bring a boat within that circle, the Coast Guard will show up very fast to turn you around or arrest you. They use high-tech radar and cameras to watch the water 24 hours a day to make sure nobody gets through. Even when we look from space using our best satellites, the images of these islands often look very weird or blurry. Some people think the government is hiding buildings, but others think the islands themselves emit a strange energy. This energy might be messing with the cameras or the digital signals that try to map the interior of the islands. We saw how dangerous this can be back in 2018 when a young man tried to visit one of these places. He thought he could make friends with the tribe and bring them messages from the outside world he lived in. He paid a few fishermen to take him close at night so the police wouldn't see him or stop his tiny boat. But as soon as he stepped onto the beach, the islanders did not see a friend. They saw a dangerous intruder. It was a very sad and tragic event that reminded the whole world why these borders are there in the first place. It proved that the legends of the warrior guards are not just stories told to scare people around a campfire. There are also many reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, or what most people call UFOs, flying over these areas. Pilots have reported seeing strange lights that dance over the trees in ways that normal planes or drones cannot do. Since nobody is allowed to go there and check, these stories just grow and grow until they become part of the legend. Some people say the soil itself on these islands is cursed and will bring bad luck to anyone who touches it. There are stories of sailors who took a single rock from a forbidden beach and then suffered through terrible storms. They say they felt like they were being watched by something invisible until they threw the rock back into the deep ocean. This brings up the portal theory, which is a favorite for people who love a good science fiction mystery at night. They think these islands are thin places where the wall between our world and another dimension is very weak. Maybe that is why people disappear or why the compasses on ships start spinning in circles when they get close. If you go into the middle of the island, maybe you aren't just in the jungle, maybe you are somewhere else entirely. There are also whispers of a fountain of youth or plants that can cure any sickness hidden deep in the dark green. Explorers have spent their whole lives looking for rare flowers that only grow in these untouched and quiet places. Because no humans have paved the roads or built houses, the plants there have been allowed to grow for millions of years. Imagine a flower that could help you live to be 200 years old just sitting there in the middle of a forbidden zone. But the price of finding it is very high because so many people who try to find it never come back home. When you look at the numbers of people who have gone missing near these coordinates, it is actually quite shocking. It is not just 1 or 2 people, but dozens over the decades who have vanished without leaving a single trace. This leads to big questions about the ethics of leaving these places alone and if we should try to help them. Scientists call this the Prime Directive, which means we should not interfere with a culture that is not ready for us. Even if we think we are helping, our presence could destroy their way of life and their health in a single afternoon. There is also the possibility of hidden biodiversity that we haven't seen since the time of the dinosaurs. Some biologists think that deep in the center of these islands, there could be animals that the rest of the world forgot. Maybe there are giant lizards or birds that have not changed in millions of years because they are so safe there. But we can't go check because the magnetic anomalies near the shores make our modern equipment fail almost instantly. Compasses will point south when they should point north, and electronic screens will just go black for no reason. It is as if the island itself has a heartbeat that messes with the tools we use to understand the physical world. This is why anthropologists are banned from even watching the island from a distance with long-range telescopes. The authorities want to give these places total privacy so they can stay as pure as they were at the beginning of time. If you could somehow get to the very center of the island without being caught, what would you actually find there? Many legends talk about a hidden temple or a huge stone structure that sits at the highest point of the land. The stories say it was built by a civilization that was around long before the modern humans ever walked the earth. Some people who have sailed nearby at night say they hear a low-frequency hum coming from the ground itself. It is a sound that you don't just hear with your ears, but you feel it vibrating deep inside your own bones. They call it the sound of the island, and it is enough to make the bravest sailors turn their ships around and run. This island represents the final frontier on our planet because it is the one place we haven't conquered yet. We have been to the moon and the bottom of the deepest trench in the ocean, but we can't go here. In a world where everything is on the internet, having a true mystery left is actually a very beautiful thing. It reminds us that we don't know everything, and that the Earth still has secrets that it wants to keep for itself. Maybe the reason we are not allowed to visit is not because it is dangerous, but because we aren't ready for the truth. The silence of the island is its greatest power, and it is a power that we should probably learn to respect more. Every time we try to force our way in, something goes wrong, and the mystery just gets a little bit deeper than before. Think about how many secrets are buried under the thick roots of the ancient trees where no one has walked. We might see a flicker of a fire from a satellite, but we don't know who started it or what they are cooking. We might see a path through the grass, but we don't know where it goes or what is waiting at the very end. These are the things that keep us up at night wondering what is really out there in the dark parts of the map. But for now, the law is very clear and the danger is very real for anyone who tries to be a hero. The islands will stay forbidden and the legends will keep growing as long as the waves keep hitting the shore. It is a reminder that some stories are better left unfinished and some doors are better left locked for our own good. If you ever find yourself on a boat and you see that green line on the horizon, just remember the arrows. Remember the hum and the feeling of being watched by 1,000 eyes that don't want you to be there at all. Turn your boat around and leave the mystery to the people who have called that place home since the dawn of time. They don't need our phones or our medicine or our history books because they have their own world to worry about. And maybe, just maybe, they are the lucky ones for being so far away from the noise of the modern world. They have the stars and the ocean and a land that has never been broken by a bulldozer or a concrete road. That is a kind of magic that you can't find anywhere else, and it is worth protecting even if it means we can't see it. So respect the boundaries and listen to the warnings because the island is not just a place, it is a legend. A legend that will outlive all of us and continue to baffle the smartest people in the world for ages to come. Stay curious, but stay safe, and never forget that some parts of the world belong only to the spirits and the wind. If you want to see more hidden parts of our world, click the next video on your screen right now.